this feeling of like I'm not doing it well.
Yeah.
Whether it's as a, in any situation you could possibly be in, you're constantly second guessing yourself. What are some of the ways or the techniques, the strategies, the mental models that you recommend to help combat that, to help combat the idea that whether it's depression or feelings of failure or that sort of thing that may enter into your mind as a parent?
Yeah, that's a really good question, and what I really encourage people to do is to really just ask themselves first and foremost, what do they actually truly believe? Okay, now this could mean a lot of different things. It could be a spiritual belief, it could be a religious belief, it could be a belief about, a philosophical belief about how life should operate or how you should treat other people. Okay, so if it's something as simple as, I believe, well, let's say if I'm a spiritually based or religiously based person, I believe something like, well, I am a divine being. Something like that, a classic I'm a child of God, or I'm a son of God, or daughter of God, or something like that type of experience. Okay, if it's something like that, then how do you then you have to challenge your assumptions. What do I actually believe that I am that? And if that's the case, how do you treat a divine creature? Okay, how does that person deserve to be treated? And my basic default is with dignity, compassion, and respect. But let's say maybe you're not a spiritually minded or religiously minded person, and that's okay too, but you certainly care about things deeply, and you believe that people as humans, as a human being, should just be treated with probably the same thing, dignity, compassion, and respect. So, but find out what is it that you really believe and start challenging that and holding true to that, because then people will oftentimes do this little unintentionally hypocritical approach that other people deserve to be treated with forgiveness or patience or understanding or compassion and respect and dignity, but I don't. It's okay for me to, our language betrays us.
Right.
I beat myself up all the time. I'm my own worst enemy. Really? You go treat someone that you want to motivate towards a better behavior by beating them up and treating them as your worst enemy. How are they going? Are they going to open up to your teaching? No. They're going to totally resist everything you do. So if you're wanting to improve yourself as a parent, the way to improve yourself is not through criticism. It's not through self-condemnation, self-flagellation, beating ourselves up. It's through compassion, encouragement, motivation, respect, saying you can do it, and here's why you can do it, because you're a good parent because of all these reasons. And yeah, you're right, you know what, you need to correct this area. You do, because you totally lost it. But you know what, you're going to correct it because you're better than this. Because I believe in myself. I can't have two different versions of a really positive a positive form of disciplining and encouraging my kids, and then have a negative one that I use for myself. That sounds like disintegrity.
Right.
And whereas the integrity brings us together, what I say and what I do, integrity, integer, one, whole, complete. Well, disintegrity is the other, and disintegrity is disintegration. And we fall apart. A lot of parents feel worn out and falling apart because they're trying to live two different standards.
So it's similar. It's the same thing that we talked about earlier. It's that idea of appreciation. That's how people will. That's the real way to motivate someone.
It is. It's amazing how simple it is. It's almost so simple and too obvious that we actually discount it.
Right.
And people, of course, will say, like you mentioned earlier, well, it's easier said than done. And my response to that is, well, no duh.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know anything that's really great that's easy.
It's just these constant little reminders getting back on track and just continuing to try, right?
Yeah. Thich Nhat Hanh, one of my favorite authors, he's a Vietnamese Buddhist author, and he said once, every day we touch what is wrong inside us and around us, and as a result we're getting sicker and sicker. He said instead we need to touch what is right inside us and around us. And that's where we get really, taking the idea of appreciation a little bit further, of learning how to become hyper-appreciative. Because we're all really pretty good at being hypercritical. We can point out a fault better than anybody as quick, and we can say, well, I'll tell you what's wrong with this, this, and this, and this. And the parents I work with people I work with individually, with couples I work with, they can come in and tell me everything that's wrong with their partner. They can tell me everything that's wrong with their kid. They can tell me everything that's wrong with themselves. But then I ask them, well, tell me all the things that are right with your partner, all the things that are right with your kids, all the things that are right with yourself. I get deer in the headlight looks all the time. Or really vague generalizations.
Right.
But with their criticisms, they were Generalizations, they were highly
They were able to
specific,
dig
they
down
were
on those.
cataloged, they were
Right.
indexed, cross-referenced, footnoted, they had the whole chronology of everything that was wrong. When it comes to what's right, and bottom line, honestly, just on the mechanical part of how our brains work, just the neurological aspect of it, our brains really don't give a hoot whether we're happy or not. Just as the machine that they are on the computational level, they're just going to operate
Right.
according to what they're told. And so if we keep telling them, yeah, that there's problems, then okay, then there's problems.
Right.
If we keep saying, well, yeah, there's problems and there's all these other things too, I'm not asking people to just be positive all the time and ignore the negative. I'm just saying, just give logically fair, equal airtime. If you have criticisms of yourself and your kid, I have no problem dealing with those. I have no problem being very realistic and looking at all those. But please, are you giving equal airtime and as much argument and as much thought and as much detail to all the things that are right?